In yesterday's video, we talked about a ton of Scarlet and Violet promos. Today, we're going to talk about Sword and Shield promos. It got me thinking, like, you know, if those promos are doing so well, they're the stamp promos, limited exclusivity. Let's go back to Sword and Shield, look at some of the best promos. Terastal Festival is popping right now. Prismatic Evolutions is right around the corner. So evolutions are very hot. And we're going to jump right in with the Vaporeon VMAX. We've talked about this card somewhat recently, but it's continued to run. Absolutely stunning card. This is definitely by far my favorite of this group of promos. Now this card is up 35% in the past 3 months, from a low of $37 up to $51. 51 market. Last solds, 50, 50. There's a 32, 57, 60, 60, 60 before that. There's only 36 copies available of this card on TCG Player, and looks like these are currently lowest listed. If you want to buy from somebody with no feedback, is $53 for the stunning Vaporeon VMAX. Now we'll also be taking a look at PSA 10 prices, just so you guys know. I think it's important. A lot of people probably don't grade, which is totally fine, but I just think it's nice to be aware of what they go for in a PSA 10, just making people aware. That's all it is. So we're going to touch on these real quick, and you're going to see a common theme between the graded cards. 270 last sold. We got a 230 crossed out, 240, 230, 250, 270, 270, so 250, 260 range, somewhere in there. Seems about right for that card in a PSA 10. Then we have the Jolteon VMAX. Once again, they're just stunning cards. These cards are so amazing artwork wise. And this card's up 48% in the past 3 months, from a low of 32 up to about $48. 48 market. Most recent sold we got a 45, but then it goes 50, 51, 60, 56, 60. So this card might continue to be on the uptick again. Common theme, same as last video, we saw limited quantities available on TCG Player. These are a little higher than some of those because those were the stamp promos. Only 35 copies of this Jolteon available on TCG. If you want it, it's going to be $50. So a little bit higher than market. $50 is the lowest listed. Let's take a look over at the PSA 10s. Fairly consistent pricing here. $245, $255, $225, a $300 sale. And I know, guys, you don't have to, it's $299. I know. I round up because it's right there. There's a $320 sale. So yeah, this Jolteon doing really well. All these promos in PSA 10s doing really well. All these promos doing well. Also, just so you guys know, it is not only evolutions. We got some other cards, a few others in here, okay? Then the Flareon V. Also, before we just dive into this, I am doing a giveaway on the channel. So if you go back like quite a few videos now, there's a giveaway. If you guys want to enter, just watch that video. It'll tell you exactly how to enter. We're giving away booster boxes, PSA 10s, a ton of stuff. Anyways, back to the card. Sorry, I just wanted to tell people because now we're at 9K. 10K is going to come pretty quick, and yeah, we're doing that at 10K. So you got time. If you're seeing the sub count below 10K, you got time. So Flareon V, probably compared to the cards we just looked at, leaves something to be desired, but very adorable. And the growth is very serious on this card. It might be adorable, but 61% growth in the past 3 months. And I just realized I wasn't pulling up the 1 year charts. We'll do that in a second. 27 up to 44 on the Jolteon. And once again, 36 copies available, low amount of copies. Last sold's 43, 38, 38, 36, 40, and a 60 sale on the Flareon V. Now this is important. I wanted to look at the 1 year charts. So I'll go back to those other 2 cards. But this card's up 136% in the past year. Now it had a run up when we had our alt art boom. That's what I like to call it. I know this isn't an alt art, but alt art boom, it ran up to 53. So I think that this is the point that it's very interesting to me. If these cards can get back to and surpass these previous 1 year highs, I think that's going to be very interesting. And you can also see the most amount of sales were right here at $34. So yeah, you can see, I like the bar graphs on here because you can see those. We'll just take a quick look back to the Jolteon real quick. Try not to take too long. Now this one, 108% growth in the past year. Looks like the 1 year low was $20. It ran up to 47, dipped back down to like 30, and we're at 48. So it's just surpassed that 1 year high. So that's what you want to see. And it'll be interesting to see if it can hold past this and continue to run. It's just something that you kind of see in stocks. You see a lot of the time. they can surpass, bounce off that 1 year high and continue to run. Same thing with the Vaporeon. It went from a low of 28 to 48, back down to 35, and now it's up to 50, so definitely surpassed it. We'll see if it can hold it. And the biggest bar graph on this one is actually back here before it had its initial run, so that's interesting as well. But back to the Flareon. Yeah, it's a nice card though, right? They can't all be bangers, right? I like the cutesy ones too, the adorbs. PSA 10 prices on this one. There's a very interesting last sold, $450 for the Flareon. Before that, we were seeing $250, $330 buy it now, $410, $330, $450. So this one tells me, without looking up pop reports, I haven't pulled up the pop reports on this card, might be a little harder to grade. Just a theory maybe, because it's not, I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments if you know pop report on this Flareon. Now we'll go over to the Vaporeon V. We got the cutesy Vaporeon. Okay, 46% growth in the past 3 months, from a low of 29 up to about 43. Most recent sales 40, 40, 39, 37, and 45. There's some other 40 sales in here as well, so that market price seems about right. A little bit more copies available, 49 on this guy right here. And right now, if you want somebody with good feedback like this guy, yeah, it's about 40. You're gonna pay $40, which is actually a little less than market. So it'll be interesting to see where this one ends up. Take a look at the 1 year here. Now this, well, similar thing. 1 year low of 20, up to 43. Then it went back down to 25, and now we're up to 43. So it just came off, or is at, looks like it's coming down off of that 1 year high. So yeah, that's kind of like a stock thing. You'd see them bounce off these like resistance lines, and then they would like, oh, anyways, we don't need to get too into it. But yeah, we'll see where this one ends up. The 1 month, yeah, so it's just stagnating a little bit at this price, at the 43. There was some sales at 35. So interesting on the Vaporeon PSA 10 wise, what are we looking at? Wow. Yeah, so some of these, man, sometimes they just surprise me in PSA 10 form. 400, 425, 415, 375, 435, 465 last solds on eBay for the PSA 10. Now, also, just bringing this up just real quick, it is now easier to grade your cards than ever before. You can just go down to GameStop, send them in. You don't really have to do anything, and GameStop will do it. You know, whether you want to risk that or not, I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to trust them with my cards. It's just the lowest barrier to entry right now for grading. So that's why I bring this up, because money can be made, or maybe you don't even want to make money. Maybe you just want to have a PSA 10 copy in your collection. It's just something I bring up. Like, I think it's really great for the hobby that GameStop's doing that, because before, you know, you'd have to have the PSA membership, and it was a whole thing. So I do like that for the community. I do think it's a good thing. Then we got the big old Flareon VMAX here with the Executor. You got the Slowpoke chilling. This is a fun card as well. 82% growth in the past 3 months. A low of 23 up to 42 in the past. That's just in the past 3 months. Last solds are a little higher, 43. Then we go 55, 45, 50, 50. So this card's running. This card's going to be a little bit higher than this. We give it some more time. If you want to pick one up now, you're looking at $44, the lowest listed from a good seller. 1 year chart. This is one that's blown past this May high. It went from the 1 year low was $17, and then it ran up to 38, went back down to 23, and now it's, you know, surpassed this at $42, $43 on the Flareon V. So yeah, some really good gains there. The most purchases were back here at 17. You don't always see that. It seems like a lot of people are buying into the strength of a rise, but yeah, most copies back at 17. So if you picked up at 17, good on you. You did good. You bought at the 1 year low. That doesn't always happen. It's hard to it's very hard to buy at the lows and sell, well, at the exact lows and sell at the exact highs. Like max, full low, full high. That can be hard to do. Then we have PSA 10. So this one, the PSA 10 prices are just a little lower. 215 last sold, 215, 220, but then we got a 350. Somebody sold the trio right here in a 10, which I think is pretty cool, for 900. So yeah, sequentially, we talked about sequentially graded cards. It's been a while. I do think that there is a premium for those people who will pay extra for sequentially graded cards. So 320 down here. So yeah, I mean, it just out the gate seemed a little lower, but there's been some 300 sales. Sorry, I got a little like tickle in my throat this morning. All right, then we got Jolteon V. This card, super fun. I like everything about this. I'm getting like Flash vibes. I don't know, from the show. Yeah, so on the 3-month chart, 25, low of 25 up to about 36. And this is one where you see in the past 3 months, like, you had a lot of purchases right here at $30. So that's on the bar graph, that's showing the most amount of purchases. There's more copies of this one available. 64 copies currently listed. We'll take a little zoom out here. So yeah, not at its 1-year high. But this little window right here, this is the most purchases. Like I said, you see this a lot into strength. Cards start to move. People see an opportunity to make a play, and they purchase a lot of copies. 1-year low is $15. So a year ago, you could have had this card for 15. If you want it right now, you can get it for 20. Oh, that's Korean. I'm sorry. Good feedback. 32 or 37 is the low. If you want to pick it up from a reputable seller on TCG Player. So yeah, Jolteon V. This is a fun card. It's a fun card. I like all these cards. I like them all. I like them all a lot, actually. You know, these would be for all of them. If you could have all of them in a PSA 10, it's a nice collection, nice little show-off piece. Yeah, and obviously they're a little bit expensive. We got last solds here $280 on the Jolteon V. Before that, though, we had a $300. Sorry, it's for some reason I don't know why it's showing some 8s and 9s in here. We got to filter through the mess here, and a $300. So yeah, and the other one $320. There's a $410 in here as well, so that's a pretty good sale on that one. So that's the sales of the Jolteon V. Then we have some Charizard promos. Now, if you're not familiar with these promos, these came in that Charizard Premium Collection box, and these weren't really doing well for a long time, right? But in the past 3 months, you'll see that they've kind of stagnated a little. They're coming off of this, but in the past 3 months, they went from a low of 13 up to 25, and they kind of like went around this range, and now they're coming down a little. It looks like $22. A lot of copies available. This is a super cool card, fighting the Mewtwo, but you know, sometimes the quantity of the promos can really affect the prices. And yeah, I mean, last sold's 20, 21, 22, 23, pretty consistently in the 20s though. So we'll see if this holds up at this price. And if you want, that's what you're seeing, low 20s if you want to pick up a copy currently. The 1-year chart's a little different on this guy though. You can see the most purchases back here when it's had its run. You could have had this for $8. $8 was the low, and it just popped recently. In May, it had just like a little pop. It went from, well, it wasn't a little, it was pretty significant at the time. You know, from a low of 8 up to that alt art boom of 15, then came all the way back down to 11, and it's just ran since then. This kind of goes with the Crown Zenith Mewtwo is like the other version of this card, so that's kind of cool. I do think it's unfortunate when they do like one that's a promo and one that's like an actual card in the set. But I wish either make them both promos or make them both in the set. Because if this Charizard was in that, I mean, Crown Zenith's already stacked, but that would be wild. PSA 10 prices of this card might surprise you because this is a low $20 card. Well, PSA 10s are selling for $260, $260, $207, $220. A 9 went for more than raw. That's surprising. $270, $240. So like high twos, mid to high twos on this card in a 10. So that's nice to see. You know, that's some good gains on that card. You know, cards in general can be hard to grade, but promos, you know, depending on the way they're packaged, I feel like the promos, I don't know, I never have good luck with the promos. I feel like it's just my luck. Then we got the old VMAX from the same set. It's from the same box. You got 3 cards, and we'll touch on them all here. Now, 23% growth in the past 3 months is pretty good. A low of 14 up to 20. Dollar-wise, not the biggest gains, but percentage-wise, you know, decent. And it's kind of fallen off this a little bit, down to like 17. 212 copies available, which is a lot. Last sold, though, is actually pretty high. 27. Before that, though, we have 17, 21, 17, 15, 17. So, I don't know, might be 17 pretty consistently. We'll take a look out at the 1 year. Just solid 40% growth. Low of 10, up to this $17 price. So, that's nice to see. It's fluctuated a little bit as it kind of stair-stepped up. This is a fun looking card though. Once again, if this card would have been in like a serious set, it could have been a very expensive card. PSA 10. So we got a $17 card. PSA 10 prices are a little less. They're a little lower on this card. About just over 100. 109, 114, 113. There's 100, 120, 120. Pretty consistently, and just, a little over 100, between 1 and 120 on the Charizard there. Then we got the sleepy one, the sleepy boy. This card, I never really, it's hard to see if you guys haven't really paid attention, but he's I don't know if he's sleeping or if he's just recovering from a fight with Venusaur. I thought he was kind of just like chilling, take a nap, and he lit the forest on fire, but I think he was from this fight with Venusaur. I don't know. Maybe this one kind of pairs with the Charizard V from Brilliant Stars, which is my favorite Charizard artwork ever. But yeah, 56% growth in the past 3 months. That's pretty good right there. From a low of $6 up to almost doubling, $11.28. A lot of copies available again of this one, 272. Last sold's 9, 11, 14. There's a 5, 9, 11. So it's kind of all over the place. There's another 15 sale down here. Yeah, so I mean, you could pick this up for $11 right now on TCG, which is market. So we'll see where this one ends up. Just the lesser of the three, Solid 127% growth over the past year. The 1 year low is $4.44 on the Charizard V. That's pretty good. From $4 to 11. Percentage wise, real good. So that's nice to see. But yeah, that's underrated card. I like this card a lot. We're not going to pull up PSA 10 prices for this card. And that concludes it for the promos. We're going to take a look at 3 other cards that are popping off. Maybe I should have just kept these for a separate video, but we're here. We're talking EVs. So I wanted to talk about some Evo Skies stuff. Sylveon V, 33% growth in the past 3 months, from 70 up to 90. 30 copies available, so it's getting low quantity-wise. On the 1 year chart, we're seeing it surpassing its 1 year high. 1 year low is 54, ran up to 94, came back down to 72, and now we're at 98. So yeah, passing that 1 year high. It's a psychological thing. There's a FOMO aspect to it. You see it. Oh no, this is the highest the card's ever been in a year. People go, it's gonna just keep going. It's gonna become unattainable, and they chase it and they buy it, right? $92 you could pick it up for right now, which would be a little less than market. So you can get it just a little bit under market if you want to pick that up now. But a fun Sylveon with Prismatic around the corner and Terrestrial, it kind of makes sense. Then we got the Leafeon VMAX. Now this card's a little different story on the chart. We've talked about this somewhat recently. In the past 3 months, just up 10%, from a low of 250 up to 290. So dollar-wise, pretty good. Percentage-wise, not as much. Most recent sale, they're saying, is 316 with 24 copies listed. So not a lot of copies. And last sold being 316. Before that, 220, 320, 380, 280. So once again, a little bit all over the place. Between 380 and 220, that's quite the jump. So one to keep an eye on. If you want to pick one up now from somebody you can get a Korean copy for 200. Looks like the most reputable seller here, you're at 325. Another 100%, but only 3 sales, you're at 309. If you want to pick up a Leafeon. The 1 year chart, though, pull that up. Now we're not at that 1 year high. This guy, I remember these times. Man, $160, and then it alt art boomed up to 350. Came all the way back down, set a higher low, which is something you want to see. That shows good strength in the card. And it's ran off of that 250 range up to the low 3s now. So this will be the point. Can it pass this 350? We'll see. Evolving Skies boxes are taking off right now. Things are crazy with that set. So it's not surprising with everything going on to see this card doing this. Last card on the list, we got the Glaceon VMAX. Kind of similar, not only 10% up, right? It had a dip from 230 down to 208. Now it's up to about 260 market, 259 roughly. This is a really fun card, like Pokemon in the background fun card. We've talked about this a lot. 46 copies available, so more copies available for this guy. The 1 year chart, looking kind of similar again. Once again, this was a $140, $150 card for a long time, even well before this chart. Before this chart can show is what I'm trying to say. And it ran up, alt art boomed a little later for this guy on the alt art boom. A lot of cards ran in May, but this went June to July. up to 312, back down to a new higher low, so that's good. It's 207, and it's bounced off that 250-ish. Last sold's 250, 288, 240, 250, 250, 290. So once again, interesting to see if it can pass that $300 mark again. That's something I look at. But yeah, nice little rebound off of that. But with the boxes getting expensive, it makes sense. It's getting pushed, right? So Evolution's doing well. In summary, I hope I didn't bore you guys too much with the promos. I know like last video was like promos and this video was promos, but just thought they went well. Thought they worked well together. Okay, thought it needs to be discussed. Not everyone knows about all the promos. You got to understand there's a lot of new people coming in, and while they might know about SV promos, they might not know about these Sword and Shield promos. So it's also raising awareness. It's just helping new people, and just general. It's not like everyone. I don't think most people are keeping up with promo prices. So when they come up, when they're popping off, it's just nice to let everybody know, right? So that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're 21 minutes into the video and you're not already subscribed, obviously you enjoyed the content. So do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button, go back, find that giveaway video. I'll try and put it somewhere here on the screen so you guys can enter a free giveaway. But yeah, daily Pokemon content. I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.